Welcome to Unit 4.6, Trusting the Body's Wisdom. We saw in the last unit that the mind and the body can spontaneously communicate with us through sensation, through imagery. Can we trust this information that we receive? Can we trust this wisdom? And can we trust it with our lives? This is the ending of my story. Lao Tzu thousands and thousands of years ago said, at the center of your being, you have the answer. You know who you are, and you know what you want. Ralph Waldo Emerson hundreds of years ago said, what lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. So for me, I had just spent nearly a year watching imagery, understanding how it coincided not only with my clinical results, but also with biological processes as I started to understand them. And now push came to shove. The cancer was back. I had a dream in February that showed, it wasn't a dream, it was a meditation, that showed a new type of cancer cell, one that did not respond to the stomping that the dancers had been doing before, those inner healers. The central figure, who I thought was my immune system perhaps, or the sum total of all of my healing capacity, but for short, I called her the goddess. The goddess could not scoop around it, could not readily find her way to get rid of this cancer. It was different. In October of 2012, 4 years later, I was genetically tested, and it turns out that I did have a new mutation that was not like the original. It was a resistance to my drug, and it is persistent, and it is very difficult to get rid of. There isn't really a standard treatment for this mutation. The drugs for it are still in the pipeline, but the traditional course is chemotherapy. So when the CT showed this 6 months later, which is how long it takes for a cancer cell to mutate and then show up on a CT, my doctors recommended chemo. But the latter part of this image was of a bolt of lightning coming down and striking the cancer cell. So I said, no, I don't want chemo, I want to have radiation. The doctor thought this was a terrible idea at the time, although recent studies have shown that this type of local treatment is effective against this particular mutation. It gave me 9 months of progression-free disease, but then in June, I had another meditation. This one was full of figures from nature, horses and owls and otters, and actually was a delightful meditation, except for its message, which was that the cancer was back. And a month later, sure enough, it showed up. This time, the guidance within the meditation was to wait and see, let nature take care of it. So my husband and I decided to just do Reiki and Qigong, to continue with the Tarsiva, but to not do any additional intervention. And we got an amazing 9 months of truly a blissful experience, because we basically just entered into a meditative state. But then another dream, in fact 2. One, that the doctor would walk in and recommend surgery, and the other, that I could somehow underwater dance and continue this below conscious underwater healing. It took me a long time to decide which of those 2 dreams was the right one to follow. And by April, 3 weeks after intensive analytical doctor going, research, reading, I finally had the image of my lung lobe popping out of my body. And I decided to do surgery and had a lobectomy. And I've been clear of disease for years. So is this a model that we could use? I think it's certainly one that we could add in. Doctors meet in a tumor board. If I, the patient, am responsible for my healing, I at least deserve a place at that tumor board. And I don't mean that I have to physically be there, but my voice needs to be there. And what is my voice based on? What do I bring to that table that no one else does? And that is this information from my body. It's not only what my body thinks should be done, but how strong my body believes it is, how willing it is to withstand any procedure that might happen, and how willing it is to muster the resources it needs to recover. So I think it's a process of observing what it is in the inside that we want to do, engaging with that to truly understand it completely, and then combining it with the other information that we receive from our doctors and our own research to analyze how it all goes together, and then ultimately make our decisions. So as part of your own voyage of discovery, listen to your inner guidance. Learn to trust it. It will tell you where you need to go. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next unit.